Bum 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 bum. What's going on, everybody? Do it again, you son of a bitch! It is episode 290 of McRae Live. It is Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2024, 7:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see who rolls on in, if anybody cares to roll on in. What's going on, everybody? My name's Dave McRae. Episode 290. What are your hot Halloween takes? Tss, tss, that's hot. Tss, What are your Halloween takes? You know what I'm saying? What are your Halloween takes? That's what I want to know, ladies and gentlemen. Your hot Halloween franchise takes, the unpopular opinions. The things you are afraid to say out loud. The things you would not say to your mother. The things you would not dare say to your grandmother. The things you wouldn't even say to your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your child. You wouldn't even say it to your dog. You wouldn't say it to your cat. You wouldn't even acknowledge your fish in the fish bowl. You wouldn't even get out your bearded dragon and spew the vile venom into your bearded dragon's face of your opinions on the hot takes opinions on the Halloween franchise. What are yours, ladies and gentlemen? That's what we are here to find out. You are free to let us know in the chat room. And you are allowed to, talk about it and spew it out there without being judged, without being picked up and thrown through a plate glass window, without being punched in the face like Daffy Duck punches some of the characters in the Looney Tunes franchises. You do not have to be worried about that, ladies and gentlemen. You are here. This is an all-welcoming place for all of you. So what are some of my hot Halloween takes? Well, you peasants figure out what yours are. I'm kidding. Relax. It's just a joke, ladies and gentlemen. What are some of my hot Halloween takes? Well, I have a few. The thing is, though, that some of these probably will not surprise you. Let's be honest. People know the Halloween. I'm so honest with my thoughts on Halloween that there's probably not going to be anything here that's going to surprise you. But nonetheless, let me start by saying this. This is a here's one of Dave McRae. Number one, ladies and gentlemen. Number one. How's everybody doing? Wayne says, we get it, Dave. Wayne, shut your Wayne little face. This is my channel, and I will do what Wayne will want, Wayne will do. Thank you, Wayne, for joining us here today, but you walk in, and if you don't like it, there's the door, Wayne. There's the door. Kind of sounded like Jack Nicholson there, a little bit. There's the door, Wayne. There's the door. Anyway, we love you, Wayne. Relax. What are some of my hot Halloween takes? Well, here's one that I was on the other side of this for many, many years. I was on the other side of this. But this is something that I now kind of have loosened up on. Now, not entirely. There are still moments where I think to myself, oh boy, right? But I have to admit that I've sort of warmed up to it. And again, that doesn't mean that it is everything or that I like all of it. But I admit that I do. It's grown on me more than I thought it ever would have if you would have asked 15-year-old me or 10-year-old me or whatever. And that is The Mask from Halloween 4, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Is that a hot take? Psst, I need like a little like hot sizzling like cooking bacon sound effect. That's what I need. The Mask from Halloween 4, I actually don't mind. Now, it's not good. It's not good. Okay, now this is where we're going to instill some nuance here. It's not good. It's not good. But I don't mind it in comparison to the dog shit and pony show that comes after it up until Halloween 18. I have to, and I know that people love that Halloween 6 mask. Maybe that's another hot take. Halloween 6, The Mask, it's better than 5, but that was a very low bar. And, there's moments of the Halloween 4 mask where I go, that looks really good there. I kind of like this. And then I know there's the elementary school scene where it's not even painted in the blonde hair. Let's put that over here. But the Halloween 4 mask, I have to admit, I've warmed up to it. Not all of every scene that it's in, but I've kind of warmed up to it a little bit. And maybe it's because I've been able to justify it in my mind in the sense of, well, the mask that he originally wore burned. And because Halloween 2 is canon with Halloween 4. And so what are the odds that he walks into a hardware store and picks out literally the exact same mask? I don't know. I mean, it would have been perfectly fine. You suspend your disbelief when perfectly fine anyway if you had done that. But, I'm thinking, well, maybe he picks one that looks very similar in the same vein, and here it is. And it because here's what I think it is that the Michael Myers mask from Halloween 4 on its own is kind of a creepy looking mask. Like when it's lit right, and I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is a Shatner mask. If I'm not mistaken. Chat room can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is. And so, you light it a certain way. It doesn't look like the original. It's on George P. Wilbur's head. It's also on Tom Morga's head. So it doesn't, there's moments, but it's a creepy mask in and of itself anyway. And so I gotta admit, I've warmed up to it. I don't love it, but I don't loathe it like I used to. I prefer it over Halloween 5's mask. I prefer it over Halloween 6's mask. There's a hot take. I know, but I do. Now there's moments in Halloween 6 where the mask doesn't look too bad. But I think I might. And I prefer it over the Halloween H2O debacle. Any mask, it doesn't matter. The CGI mask, the mask that they originally had, the Stan Winston mask, the whole, it doesn't matter what mask, even the Halloween 6 mask in the opening of Halloween H2O, it does not matter what mask. I don't like any of the Halloween H2O masks really at all. No, not really. It is true, I don't. The Halloween Resurrection mask, there's moments. But I gotta say that might be a hot take. Hot take number 2. Duh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, hot take number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is that Halloween Resurrection, even with Halloween Ends, is still, outside of Rob Zombie's films, is still the worst Halloween film in the franchise. Yes, I said it, ladies and gentlemen, and what I say matters. This is for all the trolls out there. This is all the people that are going to get upset. What I say matters. I am the greatest of all time. They love this kind of stuff. They love the Dave McRae. I have said it, therefore it is truth. These are not opinions, ladies and gentlemen. These are facts. That's right. I'm now trolling the trolls. But no, I do not think Halloween Ends is the worst in the franchise, not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's the best in the franchise, but Halloween Resurrection is a big pile of dumpster dog doo-doo dog shit. But maybe it was also because I was 23 when the movie came out, and I had already been a Halloween fan for the last nearly 20 years since I was like 5. Again, this can be dependent of a generational thing, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that really love Halloween H2O and really quite like Halloween Resurrection because it was, depending on their age, it was the first Halloween movies they ever saw. Or maybe it was the first Halloween movies they ever saw in the movie theater, right? You've heard me say this 1,000 times. So in a lot of cases, there's a big nostalgic connection for Halloween H2O, especially for Halloween H2O. And for a lot of people, Halloween, Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection. And but I don't like the movie at all. I've seen the movie. I saw it in the theater. I've seen it a couple of times since. But I think the last time I watched it in its entirety, have Tony, Michael, and I done a Two Dudes on It where we watched it years ago? I can't remember now. If not, then the last, have I done it? And did I do it on a Saturday movie night for my patrons when I had Patreon? I can't remember. But I can tell you, it's a big pile of crap. Now, that is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. If you feel differently, that's okay. That's all right. I'm not, just because I think it's a big pile of shit does not mean I think those who like it are big piles of shit. But I think Halloween Ends is better than Halloween Resurrection. I would rather watch Halloween Ends than watch Halloween Resurrection. I think the score is better. I think the mask is better. I think Myers is better. I actually do like the Corey Cunningham story. I just think that the ball was fumbled in this movie. I don't think it's a terrible movie. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. I just think that Halloween Ends should really, the crux of the story in Halloween Ends should have been the jumping off point for an anthology series. I think it's weird and strange, and it felt like they were just being avant-garde for the sake of being avant-garde. And we want to suppress expectations. It's a goddamn Halloween slasher movie, for God's sakes. This isn't the Shawshank Redemption. This isn't Shakespeare. Just deliver the goods. Just bring. You don't have to. We gotta have this subtext. It's a Halloween movie, folks. It's a Halloween movie at the end of the day. I'm sorry, Jamie Lee Curtis, we love you, but at the end of the day, this is not the right place and the right time for your vehicle of trauma. Anyway. I'm on fire tonight, folks. No, but like I said, when I went and saw Halloween Ends in the movie theater, and I sat there and I actually was really enjoying the film. Like I like the story of Corey Cunningham. I like that story. I think there's a lot of meat there. It's just in the wrong movie. It's in the wrong movie. But I still would much rather watch Halloween Ends than Halloween Resurrection dumb shit. I just can't stand it. Trick or treat, motherfucker. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just think trick or treat, motherfucker, and drop kicking Michael Myers through his own attic window is worse than anything in Halloween Ends. But that's my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. That's my opinion. So there's a hot take right there. I think. Is that a hot take? I don't know. Maybe. Well, actually, that's two hot takes, really. That I actually don't mind Halloween Ends, that part of it, although I don't think it's very good in terms of it didn't deliver what it needed to deliver. And all these people that are saying, oh, but it did. It didn't deliver the epic showdown. Oh, but they did. Look. If you like Halloween Ends, if you love Halloween Ends and feel that it's a misunderstood masterpiece of cinema and feel that one day it's going to be revered, one day it's going to be appreciated, one day, don't hold your breath. Just that's all I'm saying. Just don't hold your breath. Time will tell. Obviously, time will tell. But I do think that we are grasping at straws when we say that, no, the marketing was not misleading at all. No, they showed you that there was going to be a showdown, and there was a showdown, and you got a showdown. It's like, okay, all right. Come on. You know what those people are talking about. Okay, if you want to take it literally, right on the nose, yes, okay, they didn't lie per se, but it's kind of like fudging the truth, being a little misleading, taking gigantic leaps of creative liberties. Do you know what I mean? Look, Halloween Ends is not the epic showdown to end all showdowns that it should have been. I mean, let's just be honest here. It's not. I mean, the showdown was 5 minutes in a kitchen. I mean, they might as well just been cooking. I mean, they might as well have just been baking cookies together, really, at the end of the day. And so the Michael Myers Halloween aspect of Halloween Ends was a gigantic, I mean, they dropped the ball. They fumbled the ball. Now, there's moments about it that I like. Like, I like that he was killed by being bled out and that kind of stuff. I'm not so crazy on the, the funeral procession with him on the, I don't know. I think Laurie should have tossed herself into the meat grinder, quite frankly, or at least somebody should have gone up and pushed her in. But so, yeah, the Myers aspect of Halloween Ends was really a disappointment and a failure. But the Corey Cunningham story, I'm sorry to say, I liked. I liked it. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there, and I think they were onto something. I just think it's the right story in the wrong movie, and that's just what it is. But I still think that Halloween Ends, I would much rather watch Halloween Ends than Halloween Resurrection. It's just not, what's going on there? Let me see here. So those are 3 hot takes, I guess. 3 hot takes. What are some? I wrote some things down here. So let me just see. Actually, let me just see what you guys are saying. Are you guys telling me your hot takes here? Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Super chat from Brandon Gregory. I'll get to that later, Brandon. It's not on topic, so I'll get to it during the Q&A. Kyle, $5 says, I enjoyed the extra scenes they shot later on for H7-8 to make it long enough to be shown on TV. I wouldn't mind them being permanently included. I see what you're saying. The TV cut. Well, it is. It's on the TV cut. It's on the TV cut. You mean like permanently included in terms of I don't know. In terms of like to make it actually canon kind of thing, like on a like a sort of a ultimate cut, I guess, of the movie, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the way it's going to be. Let me see here. We got Dan the Man. The comment was removed by one of our moderators, our great moderator, of course, Brandon Collins. I appreciate that, Brandon. I see it there. I see the message there. And yeah, Dan, Dan, go fuck yourself. That's just, please, give me a break. Give me a break, Dan. A scam. Give me a break. Anyway, Andrew Stevens sends in $14. Sends in a member chat and says, my hot take from a written perspective, they're in a film pitch in Taking Shape 2 that has Halloween Resurrection as not the worst film in the franchise. If that film was to be made, it's that bad. Well, but it is. And that film never got made. So therefore, Halloween Resurrection is the dumpster. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry to all you Halloween Resurrection fans. It is a dumpster fire. Of course, it's just my take on it. Let me see here. Logan Reynolds says, I love the Halloween 4 mask. Jamie's nightmare was its best shots. I agree. When Jamie is having the nightmare, right? You know, the nightmare. I absolutely agree. I think that is it's just tremendous in terms of the way the way it's lit, the way it's shot. It's probably one of the best sequences in that movie. The dream sequence at the beginning of Halloween 4 with little Jamie Lloyd is one of the best sequences in that movie. The way it's lit, the way he looks, you know, the slow motion when the parents come out of the bedroom, Jamie, you know, and the mother's like coming out of the bedroom and, you know, running down the hall. It's just great. It's great stuff. Dean Renner says, if you look at Kills as the end of the Myers story and ends as a standalone, but the death of Michael, then it kind of justifies its existence. I understand what you're saying, Dean, but here's my problem. The problem is that, you know, look, you shouldn't have to look, unless it was designed that way, right? And we were made aware that it was designed this way. And that it, you know, fair, you know, but the problem is it wasn't marketed that way. It wasn't made to be that way. These are just things after the fact that fans have to conjure up in their own minds in order to be able to justify something's existence, right? You know, it's like when I said to you about It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2. I said, look, Chapter 2, you can watch on its own. I said, but it's going to be best experienced if you watch the first movie first, Chapter 1, and then Chapter 2. And really watch Black Christmas, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, because then you get the full picture. Chapter 2 is really, it's not its own separate movie 2 years later where it has another 3 acts. It's really just the end of the second act and the third. It's the last half of the movie. We didn't have enough money to do the whole thing, so now we're coming back to complete the rest of the movie, right? And so I've had people reach out to me and say, you know, Dave, you were right. That, you know, I watched Chapter 1 and then Chapter 2, and I really feel it worked better for me. And so, and I was on here for months and months and months saying, hey guys, when Chapter 2 comes out, if you haven't seen the original Black Christmas or you haven't seen It's Me, Billy, please go watch them, because otherwise Chapter 2 is not going to make a lick of sense to you. Or if you've seen Chapter 1, but you haven't seen it in 3 years, please watch it and then watch Chapter 2. Otherwise, Chapter 2 will be like, I don't really, you know, where's this? Where's that? It doesn't feel as suspenseful. It doesn't feel as this. It doesn't feel as that. Yeah, it's because you're into the third act now. Not that you can't have suspense during the third act of a movie. We did have suspense, right? There's that great scene with Victoria and the, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. But it's the third act. So that's when things ramp up and when arcs get complete and things get revealed and all that juicy stuff, right? And so it was designed that way, right, from the very beginning. And I was on here like gangbusters telling everybody, hey, you know, of course you can only tell so many people because only so many people watch me. But, you know, make sure that it's best experience in this way. And if that was what David Gordon Green was doing, hey, here's what we're doing here, right? Kills ends in this sort of kind of way. And we're picking up, you know, with ends. And it's like, but that's not how it ends. That's not how Kills ends. That's not how ends begins. You know, it was a pivot. I don't think they really knew what to do, but the first one was so successful that they needed to figure out a way to, you know, continue it, right? Highest grossing slasher in motion picture history. And so they had to figure out a way to continue it. And that's what they did. And I think because Kills was, you know, a bunch of killing and this, that, and I firmly believe that they sat down and they tried to figure out a way to make it different rather than just bringing it in for, listen, there's a video on my channel where I give my version of what I would have done with Halloween Ends. Just type in Dave McRae Halloween Ends. It'll probably pop up. You may not agree with me, but I talk about, it's got Corey in it. It's got Allison in it. Allison? Annie Matichuk plays Allison. Yeah. It's got Laurie in it. It's got Hawkins. It's got everybody. There's a thunderstorm. There's rain. There's lightning. Myers hasn't been seen for a long time. And you know, I figure out a way to kind of, you know, really bring it back to being Myers-centric. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. But I agree. I'm just trying to think of some more hot takes. I've written some down here. Oh, hang on. My phone is... Uh-oh. Hang on. Oh, my phone up here. But I want to know more from you guys. I'll tell you more of mine here in a second, but I want to get some more of you guys so I don't miss these. Let me see here. Hot takes. Give me a hot take, folks. Jamie Hart, one of our great members, says, hot take. I hate the Thorn Trilogy. Yes, Jamie, yes. I hate the Thorn Trilogy so much that I haven't watched them since the 90s, and I refuse to buy them for my collection. Jamie, there you go. I hate that it's... here's a hot take. This was written down here, by the way. It's a great segue. I hate the fact that it's called the Thorn Trilogy. I understand why it's called the Thorn Trilogy, but for God's sakes, there's nothing in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, that even makes you think you're going to end up where you end up. There's no tattoo. There's no Cult of Thorn symbols. It's nothing. It ain't a trilogy. It's not a trilogy. It's a... What do you call two films? A pair? It's not, there's no Thorn Trilogy here. I mean, I understand why you include 4 because, you know, I get it. But what a shit show of a 180 that was. Thank you, Dominic Orthinian Gerard. Really appreciate that. And then Joe Chappelle just had to figure out what to do with 6. No, for me, I think the best trilogy to watch, if you're going to make a trilogy out of it, I think, and people will disagree with me on this. This is another one of my hot takes here, folks. My favorite trilogy, if you're going to have a trilogy in the franchise, now you could go David Gordon Green's trilogy if you want. Fine. And I've talked about this, but my favorite trilogy is Halloween 1, 2, and not H2O, Halloween 4. I like the darker ending. I like the more ominous ending. I like the full circle evil wins ending. I mean, you essentially begin with, little Michael Myers, 6-year-old Michael Myers standing there, in front of his house in the clown costume and the butcher knife. And then full circle, you've got Jamie Lloyd standing at the top of the stairs holding those pair of scissors. They're in and around the same age. She's in the clown costume. We think she's just I know we find it in 5. We find out in 5 that her foster mother survived. But if 4 was the last movie, hey, she killed her foster mother. And I mean, what a great, that's what I like to call the Lumis Trilogy. The Lumis Trilogy, 1, 2, and 4. Hot take, I'm not a fan of H2O. I'm not a fan of H2O. I don't loathe the movie. I don't think it's as bad as Halloween Resurrection or as bad as Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or, anything, like that. I've never really been a big fan of Halloween H2O, even when the movie came out. This is not again, I don't loathe the film, but this isn't a 180. I'm not changing my mind. I was 19 when the movie came out. So I was nearly 20 years old. I had already been a Halloween fan. When I got into Halloween, there were only 3 Halloween movies. There was only 2 Michael Myers movies, and so I was I was already locked into my Dave McRae purist annoying. A lot of people find me annoying. Annoying Dave McRae purist. You think I'm annoying now at 45? You should have seen me when I was 5. I'm telling you, it's all about mood and atmosphere. No, but I was related to it. So when Halloween H2O came out, that was not the first Halloween movie I'd ever seen. That was not the first Halloween movie I'd ever seen in the movie theater. I was dialed into Michael Myers for years before that. So not to say that that's the only way you can like Halloween H2O is if you weren't. I'm just saying that I've noticed over the years a pattern of diehard Halloween H2O fans that a lot of them, it tends to be they tend to have a very big nostalgic connection to it because it was either the first Halloween movie they ever saw or the first one they saw in the movie theater. It might have been the one that introduced them to the franchise. And so there's nostalgic there. There's big nostalgia there. I'm not a big fan of it because it doesn't look like Halloween, doesn't smell like Halloween, doesn't taste like Halloween, doesn't sound like Halloween. You got the Scream score in there. You've got it set in California. You got nice, warm, color tones and greens and things. But Dave, the original Halloween was shot in the spring and they don't have all the colors and all the... That's true. That is very true. That is very true. But it's got better mood. It's got better atmosphere. It's better shot. It feels more like Halloween. It's got that low budget 1978 film grain but Dave, there's palm trees in the background. Halloween's not a perfect movie. I know it's not a perfect movie. Halloween's not a perfect. Are you kidding me? What is a perfect movie? Really, at the end of the day, my Billy films are not perfect movies. There's no perfect movie out there, ladies and gentlemen. Halloween 78 is not a perfect movie. But it perfectly does what it sets out to do. And that's different. That's a whole different thing. But oh yeah, there's things in there. Some of the acting in Halloween 78's a little wooden, some of the cuts are a little kind of weird. Although I think they might have fix those cuts in some Blu-ray or 4K releases. But when you rented Halloween back in the 80s or the 90s, there was some weird fucking cuts in there. But anyway, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Halloween H2. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just not. I know Laurie's, yeah, but Dave, what about Laurie's arc? What about her arc? I will say that's probably the best thing in the movie, but it's not enough. Even killing Michael Myers, the head chopping off. I didn't like the reaching out with the fingers. Like that painting of, what was it, God and who's the other guy? I don't know. I'm not religious, but the fingers and the. Why would he do that? Why would and why couldn't we see his eyes? And then you got Halloween fans going, yeah, but Dave, he wasn't shot in the eyes in Halloween H2, in Halloween 2. Yes, he was. Even Dick Warlock in interviews have said, I got shot in the eyes. Why do you think I was going? He was shot in the eyes. He's not even burned. Where was Burns? Where is Burns? Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. It just looks like Michael Myers walked onto the set of Dawson's Creek. All the Halloween H2O fans right now hate me. They hate me. Just know, folks, I'm being theatrical for the sake of entertainment. I can find redeeming qualities in Halloween H2O. There's some things in Halloween H2O that I like. Redeeming qualities. But overall, I'm just being wildly theatrical and crazy for the sake of entertainment. I don't think Halloween H2O is the worst in the franchise, not by a long shot. But it's a fan favorite. And it's like the Dream Warriors of the Halloween franchise. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I just never have warmed up to it. It's kind of like Dream Warriors, actually. Like, I like Dream Warriors. Don't get me wrong. I really do. Who doesn't like Dream Warriors? But I like the first two Elm Streets better. If I had to rank the Elm Street movies, it's going in order. 1, 2, 3. Actually, depending on the day, I might even put 4 first over 3. I don't know. I watched 4 like about a year or so ago, and I was like, wow, this is better than I remember. I mean, it's totally MTV Freddy, but I don't know. I just remember liking it better than I thought I did. But anyway, we're not talking Freddy. So yeah, Halloween H2O. Not a big fan. Not a big fan, folks. Not a big fan. Let's get some hot takes. By the way, for those of you that are not sending in super chats, and you want to give in a hot take, put hot take in capitals before you say your hot take. That way I'll be able to see it for those of you that are not sending in super chats. I can't promise I will get to every one of you, but at least that way it's easier for me to see them. We have 175 people in the chat room right now, so there's a lot of people, 175 people watching, I should say. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. Logan Reynolds, $1.99. Thank you, Logan. Says, I love the Halloween 4 mask. Jamie's Nightmare was its best shots. Oh, I think I said that already. And I totally agree, Logan. Josh McKenna sends in $19.99. Thank you, Josh. Very generous super chat. Says, have you ever snuck into a theater as a teen? Okay, Josh, we're going to get to this at the end. I want to save what we're talking about here right now for the topic at hand. I'll save yours for the Q&A part. We got Laquita Smith. Laquita Smith sends in a super chat. Sends in $4.99. Says, just tuning in. Had to say how much I enjoyed Billy 1 and now 2. Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Amazing. Thank you. Laquisha. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me see here. We got a lot of super chats. Okay, I'll get to them after. Let me see if I can hot take. Brandon Gregory says, hot take. I hate the low medium shot of Michael walking into the bedroom at the end of Halloween 1. It's the only shot in the movie that I think looks amateurish. Whoa! That is a hot take. Whoa, the knives are coming out. I disagree, Brandon. I disagree. I totally disagree. I think for me, it's clear that the reason why it is a low angle shot is to convey, to give Michael that sense of authority, that sense of power, that sense of being in command. When you want to shoot your antagonist, whoever it is, to give them a sense of authority and power, you always shoot them from a low angle. There's many shots of Darth Vader like that, or other very famous antagonists. I think it's great. I think it's a great shot, and it's one of my favorite shots of the entire film. So yeah, that is a hot take. That is definitely a hot take. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate your hot take. That is hot. Let me see here. Anybody else putting hot takes? I'm not sure. Bobby Hall says, hot take. I'm not a fan of the idea of a sequel to H4 with Jamie as the killer. I prefer her just to be touched by evil, not turned into a boogeyman replica. She should just be a mental patient. I agree with that. I think that's why I don't think it's necessary to even continue on. I don't think it's necessary to even continue on after Halloween 4. So yeah, 184 people. What's going on? 184 people watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, we are almost just 400 people away from 30,000. We got to get to 30,000, folks. It's been long overdue. Let's see if we can get there. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that notification. Watch It's Me, Billy, chapters 1 and 2. What? Huh? What? Huh? What? What'd you say? Huh? No, I just put that in there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Hot take from Rex Smith says the original Halloween 2 is underrated and the second best movie. Is that a hot take? I agree with you 100%. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's sort of a common thing. Maybe it's a hot take in your circles, Rex. But no, I still to this day think that Halloween 2 is the original one from 1981. Halloween 2, 1981 is still to this day the best sequel in the franchise. And it's my favorite sequel still. It's not without its flaws, of course, but it's still my favorite sequel. Let me see here. Alex Shambach, been a member for 14 months. Thank you. Alec, by the way, we have a member-only Q&A tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see all of our members there. And I appreciate your patience over the last few weeks because things have just been so busy with Billy. Many fans are too hard on Jamie Lee Curtis. She brings a gravitas to the franchise that elevates it compared to other franchises and is crucial for the marketing. This is especially true for the David Gordon Green trilogy. Yeah, look, I think... I'm somewhere in the middle. I think Jamie Lee Curtis does get shit on unnecessarily. At the same time, I don't think, and I have no concrete evidence of this, but it is my educated, informed opinion that a lot of the subtext about trauma, trying to elevate these 3 Halloween movies was because of Jamie Lee Curtis. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a prerequisite for her to come back. That she said, look, if I'm going to do another one of these fucking Halloween movies, you got to have more meat on the bone here. And so I want to talk about trauma and I want to talk about what's going on in the world right now, which is not unprecedented for horror movies to do. Some of the best horror movies in the world do mirror and write stories with subtext and social commentary about things that are relevant in today's society. It's not that it's not true about, sort of what those, that those movies, that horror movies can't do that. And some great horror movies do. But I just don't think the David Gordon Green trilogy did a very good job of it. In each movie, whether it's Sartain, whether it's, not that was political, but whether it's Sartain, whether it's the hospital scene in Kills, or the Corey Cunningham thing altogether in Ends, it feels like the movies come to a stop. And like there's a commercial break and now you have to pay attention to this rather than it being organically woven into the narrative where it feels it's just part of everything. You don't realize it's, you're not stopping to do this and then come back to this. And that's how a lot of that felt. So it's unfortunate, but I think she gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but she's also said some things where I'm like, oh, Jamie, just shut up. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking Halloween, Jamie. It's not Shawshank, that doesn't mean you can't elevate, a story. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's Michael Myers slashing people, right? We have to remember that. Let me see here. We got, just want to make sure, Nick Jenny sends in $4.99. It says, Halloween 2 is my favorite in the franchise. The best score by far. My favorite Lumis and Myers performance and love seeing Les Laurie. Is that a hot take? It's Nick Jenny's hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Do you agree with him? What are your hot takes? Lupo Ghoul says, spicy take. Maybe he's referring to the take about the low-angle shot. I don't know. Nick Acosta says, hot take, Halloween 5, although I don't like the movie, has grown on me, and I find myself watching it every October. Well, hey, Nick Acosta wasn't, Nick, I mean, that's good. That's good. That's good, Nick. That's good. Hot take. Travis Mitchell says, hot take. Until 2018, Halloween 3 has the best kills in the franchise. Whoa! Oh, that is a spicy take. Do you guys agree with Travis Mitchell that until Halloween 2018, Halloween 3 had the best kills in the franchise? 3, the one without Michael Myers. I don't know if I agree with you, my man. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you on that. But hey, I respect it. You got to respect people that have the balls to come out here and give their hot takes. Let me see. Let me get some of these. Chuck M0503, been a member for 14 months. Thank you, buddy. Sends in a member chat and says, it is not liking the brother-sister angle between Michael and Laurie a hot take these days, or is it more accepted among the fans? I think it's more accepted. I think I get a sense that it's sort of down the middle. I think you have a lot of Halloween fans that much prefer Michael not be attached to any sort of bloodline. And then you have other Halloween fans that love that angle because it gives them purpose. It gives them a heroine to root for. It gives them that one constant, right? It gives them a constant final girl, right? You know, there's a protagonist and an antagonist rather than just switching, you know, protagonists every movie. So, not that you have to be related to the antagonist in order for that to take place, but I don't know if it's a hot take. I think maybe it's just more of a, I don't know, medium take maybe? I don't know. Let me see here. Davey Deathray sends in a member chat. Thank you, thank you, Davey. Says, hot take. The DGG films are all top 5 in the franchise. All of them. Hot take round 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is easily better than his remake and far from being the worst in the franchise. Oh! Ooh, that's a spicy meatball. Let me see here. Davey Deathray has now just exited the room. He's taken a shit. He's leaving it for everybody to smell. And now he's just exited stage left, walked out. He's in a cab. Davey Deathray's, hell, he's not even in the cab. He's on the plane. He's flying back to his hometown right now. He took a dump and he's just flat. That's it. And we just got to sit here and smell it. That's it. You know, I mean, I will say this. That Halloween 18 is one of the better films in the franchise. Agree, 100%. I think Halloween Kills, minus the we'll be back right after this commercial break segment of the film, which takes up like 15, 20 minutes in the middle. Minus that, I think it's all right. It's all right. I like the kills. You know, I think there was some potential there if they had just focused on that more. I did a Halloween Kills watch along for my level number 2 members last month. And I talked about how I think if they had got rid of the hospital scene and introduced more of the kills, because I also think that, you know, his killing of Big John and Little John in the Myers house wasn't that good. I mean, we see him kill the interracial couple. Forgive me, I forget their names. The older couple, we see him kill them. That was a great kill. Great scene, great deaths, great kill, great gags, great practical effects. And then of course there's the SUV and all that, which is great as well. But then there's nothing for a long time. And then we get the gag in the Myers house, which I know he's putting his you know, thumbs into the eyes of Big John. But he just kind of shows up. There was no stalking. They're walking around the Myers house. And then all of a sudden, Michael's just kind of there behind Big John. And it's like, I think there should have been some stalking and some, you know, emerging from the darkness. And he's just kind of there. And then it's just kind of, we need to get this over with. Maybe it was a time thing. Trust me, I know all about that. You ask any filmmaker, ladies and gentlemen, is there anything that you wish you could have done or you had more time to develop and expand on? And they're all going to say yes. There's stuff like that on both Billy films. I mean, there's stuff that when I watch Billy 1 and 2, I'm like, you know, I wish we had more time to flesh that out a bit more or work that gag a bit more or whatever, right? Listen, it's making movies is hard. And sometimes you have to, you know, there's a lot of turning parts, a lot of turning wheels. So I don't fault them for it. If it was written that way, then I'm kind of like, why did you write it this way? But sometimes it's like, look, we're running out of time. We got to get these shots. That's why at the end of Halloween Kills, when everybody's getting sliced in the throat and everything, and you just see like, you know, it looks like a black void behind them, and that was shot on a soundstage. That wasn't on the street. That was shot later on a soundstage, and they couldn't shoot that on the street because I believe Christopher Nelson said they were working against the time. They were working for with the sun that was about to come up and all this kind of stuff. And so they had to shoot they had a much more dynamic, you know, for Brackett and Tommy Doyle and all that. Apparently it was going to be much more dynamic, but it ended up being the way it was because they ran out of time and they had to shoot that shit on a soundstage, which is why everything looks like it's a black void, you know, behind some of those kills. I'm paraphrasing what Christopher Nelson said, but that's the gist of kind of, you know, what he was talking about. And so these things do happen. And so, but I just found the death of Little John was off screen, which, hey, I'm all for off screen, deaths if they're done well. But the on-screen death of Big John was a little underwhelming to me. The effects gag was great. I just wanted more stalking, more suspense. I didn't find the scene overly suspenseful because they were a gay couple and we were leaning into that, a little bit of that flamboyancy. I mean, for God's sakes, you call, the big guy, Little John, you call, the little guy, Big John, and one's holding a big knife, one's holding a little knife, and it's an innuendo about the size of their dicks. I mean, there's just a little too much tongue firmly planted in cheek, or maybe something else firmly planted in cheek. Good night, everybody! Good night, I'll be here all week. But you know what I'm saying? There was just a little bit too tongue-in-cheek for me with that scene. I wanted it to be a little more serious. And so, it's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but even Halloween Kills, I will acknowledge that the mask is great. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. The kills, for the most part, are fantastic. I love that scene with Lindsay and Michael in the shape, and he's stalking her, and the fact that you just hear the elements and the reflection on the water, and he's walking onto the. I wanted more of that. So I agree with Davey Deathray in the sense that the David Gordon Green films are by far the worst in the franchise. Top 5, I guess they could be, depending on how, you're ranking them. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I have to disagree, Davey Deathray, but that's all part of the love. It's all part of the love, Alley Girl says, I guess my biggest hot take is Halloween is my favorite movie in the franchise, even over the OG. Halloween 2, is my favorite movie in the franchise, even over the OG. Amazing. Okay, let me see. I want to make sure I've got the super chats and the member chats related to what is going on here. Member chat comes in from Josh McKenna. Thank you, Josh. Says, hot take, Ends might have been my favorite of the trilogy if Michael wasn't in it. Maybe have Hawkins as the sheriff and have basically the same plot. I also like Halloween 3 more than most. That's a hot take. I think anytime you say that you like anything about Halloween Ends. By the way, folks, hit that thumbs up button. There's 200 people in the chat room right now. Absolutely fantastic. You guys are amazing. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. I rarely ask people to subscribe, but we've been knocking on 30,000 now for quite a long time. We're basically 400 people away from 30,000 smackaroos. And so I would love to get to 30,000 soon. It'd be great if we could. Let me see here. I got that. The Davey Deathray, have I missed? I think some of the super chats were related to some other things. So I will get to your super chats. Feel free to, if you have a super chat that's related to the topic, send it in right now and I will read it right this second. If you have a super chat that's not related to the topic, I'll read it when we get to the Q&A very soon. Brandon Collins says, hot take. If Carpenter hadn't taken the film away from Rosenthal, recut it and shot additional footage, Halloween 2 would be a lifeless pedestrian film that could have killed the franchise. You might be right. I think we sometimes forget that the Carpenter did have his paws over that film, and it wasn't all Rosenthal. The Carpenter, I believe the scene with what's-her-face at the beginning of the movie, when she's the girl that's killed when Warlock leaps up behind the couch, I think that was added in after, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that, but I think if memory serves, you guys will let me know. Dude says, hot take, H6 theatrical cut is better than H4. Oh, I don't think anything H6 is very good. Of course, you're talking about the theatrical cut rather than the producer's cut. I will sometimes get asked, which do you prefer, the producer's cut of Halloween 6 or the theatrical cut? And I just say it doesn't really matter. The producer's cut gives a little more context, you get a little more Lumis, and I get, but it's still the same story. The producer's cut, despite what people would lead you to believe, is not vastly different than the theatrical cut. I mean, it's a little different. There's some extra here and there's one, but it's not like you're like, oh my God, this is a completely different movie. And in the producer's cut, Michael Myers literally gets naked, throws on Dr. Wynn's outfit with his trench coat and fedora, and walks away down the hall into the ether. Michael Myers, the fucking movie ends with Michael Myers in a goddamn trench coat and a fedora. I'm sorry, But unless he's about to solve crimes, and he's gonna become a 1940s gumshoe, I don't know what's going on here. Just put a bloody briefcase in his hand or something. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Let me see here. Let me scroll down. BB Haunted Basement, been a member for 7 months, sends in a member chat. Thanks, buddy. Says, hot take. Zombies Halloween 2 is the best sequel in the franchise. Oh, because of how Scout Taylor Compton played Laurie in it. Listen, Scout Taylor Compton was great. No doubt about it. But it's just too different for me. And I think maybe that's why it works for some, because it is so different. And maybe that's why it works. And maybe that's why there's some people that are warming up to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 even more so than Rob Zombie's Halloween. Maybe because Rob Zombie's Halloween is a little too similar to Carpenter's original in the sense of the story and, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's 2, is vastly different from Rick Rosenthal's Halloween 2. You have the hospital in the beginning, but it was although I will say this, and this isn't the first time anybody said this, the dream sequence at the hospital at the beginning of Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, is fire. It is fantastic. I think it's the best thing in that movie. And it's too bad it was a dream sequence. I would have loved to have seen that whole movie play out in that way. The entire movie, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, is an entire cat and mouse showdown between injured Laurie Strode and Tyler Maine's Michael Myers on Halloween night in a thunderstorm full of rain and crackling thunder, booming thunder, and fork lightning and sheet lightning and hospital nurses being killed and dark corridors and the power going out and it's just a cat and mouse game between Tyler Maine's Michael and Scout Taylor Compton's Laurie. That is all of Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now that I would have signed up for. That would have been cool. The Violator sends in $9.99. Thanks, buddy. Says, hot take. I personally believe Malcolm McDowell is the better Loomis. Whoa! Malcolm McDowell is the better Loomis, ladies and gentlemen. Woo-wee! I don't know, but if that's how you feel, ladies and germs. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I didn't mind him in Halloween, but in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get behind. Have I got all the super chats that are pertaining to the topic today? I just want to make sure that I am. Hang on a sec here. I believe so. Yes, I think I have. Okay. Just want to make sure. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let me see. Let me go back over here. Hang on 1 minute. Okay. Hang on. Where are you guys? I lost. Oh, there you guys are. There you guys are. Scared Straight Production says, hot take. Annie's death in Halloween 2 is the true Jamie send-off we didn't get. Most hurt I felt in the franchise. Yeah, that was pretty epic. And of course, Brad Dourif's portrayal of Sheriff Brackett was great. Look, just because I don't like the movies, doesn't mean that I cannot find redeeming qualities in some of these movies. You know what I mean? Even some of the movies I don't like, I can find some redeeming qualities. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Bobby Hall says, hot take. Oh, here's a hot one. I would rather watch Resurrection than Kills. Ooh, no. Bobby Hall just walked in taking a big dump. No. Resurrection is dumb, but kind of entertaining in a goofy way. Kills is so cringy and makes my brain hurt. There's definitely some cringy things in Kills. But I just, like how many times they say it's been 40 years. And of course, evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Look, the line "evil dies tonight" is a great line. It's a great line. A group of the townsfolk all chanting "evil dies tonight." That's great. I like that. It was just too much. It was just too much. When Halloween Kills came out on Blu-ray and 4K on physical media, I took a photo of it and I took it into Photoshop. And if you follow me on social media, you may remember this. I made a cover that said "The Evil Dies Tonight Edition." And on the back, it's just nothing but "Evil Dies Tonight, Evil Dies Tonight, Evil Dies." And I shared it on social media, and there were people that thought it was real. Like, dude, fuck, how'd you get that? I want to get that. I'm like, it's not real, guys. They didn't really, "The Evil Dies Tonight Edition." I mean, what is that even gonna, every 5 seconds, they just slip in "Evil Dies." Every character is saying it. That'd be funny. Zach Axiola says, hot take. I think the narrative choice to jump forward 4 years in Halloween Ends was a great one. You may not like the movie itself, but exploring how the town and characters have recovered was interesting. It was, listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think exactly what you just said there, Zach. I agree with you. I think the Corey Cunningham story is a really interesting one. But you don't need Michael Myers to tell that story. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When I went to the theater to see Halloween Ends, I actually was enjoying the movie. And ironically, up until Michael Myers showed up. When Michael Myers showed up, I actually felt the movie went down. And so, I've often said, the movie wasn't bad until Michael showed up. And that's definitely not what you want, right? And so I think the Corey Cunningham story is actually a really good story. And if I was in the writer's room and I had any seniority at all, like I was a producer or something, I would have turned to David and I would have said, you know what, that's a really great idea, but not for this. Like, maybe, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, are the rights going to go back to Matt? Are we going to, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be in the know on that. But if they want to continue it in some sort of like series, like streaming series, like an anthology series or something, the Corey Cunningham story is a great one. Because when you think about the Corey Cunningham story in Halloween Ends, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again because there's nearly 200 people in the room right now. So maybe there's some people that haven't heard me say this. The Corey Cunningham story is a good one. And you don't need Michael Myers in that story at all. You can have a Michael Myers-centric Halloween Ends where it's Michael and Laurie, and it's maybe it's nothing new, but it's a good movie, lots of suspense, great kills, great music. Maybe there's a thunderstorm and whatever, right? And the movie ends, it's great. Then you do a Halloween TV series, and maybe you are able to lure back, if I don't know, the money might, she's an Oscar winner now. But if Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to come back, maybe she's in a couple of episodes to get it going, but she's not in every episode or something. I don't know. But you can do that story, because then it can be a story about exactly what the Corey Cunningham story really is about, which is about this all-American kid in Haddonfield who does something, this horrific thing that happens to him. It's by complete accident, right? By complete accident. And, he's put on trial, but the town doesn't think it's an accident because the town is still recovering from the aftermath of Michael Myers and all the kills in Halloween 1978, in Halloween 18, in Halloween Kills. Halloween 2 is not canon, of course. And so, they're still recovering from that. And there's a lot of, psychological and sociological, the effects, the hurt, the pain, all that kind of stuff. You can have that. What a great starting off point. And then even though Michael Myers isn't in your series isn't in your anthology series, you'll feel him everywhere because it's all about the town getting over him, and you'll hear conversations about him. Maybe there'll be flashbacks, whatever the case is. But really what ends up happening is that this all-American kid, this accident happens, he's acquitted. Maybe it goes to trial, he's acquitted. He comes back to Haddonfield, he's a shell of what he used to be. He's not going to go to college anymore. And the bullying and the psychological torment, ironically, that the town places on this kid, ironically brings quote unquote Michael Myers back. Not actually Michael Myers because he's dead, but a new version of some sort of killer, which is Corey Cunningham. And it's all because of the bullying, maybe not from, the high school band, but, the bullying, and even the adults don't like him and they look at him weird. He's not invited anywhere and he can't hold the job like that. And then Laurie notices that this is happening and says to exactly what she says in Halloween Ends. I've seen those eyes before. But you can do all of that in a series where there is no Michael Myers. You don't need Myers. That's the most frustrating part for me about Halloween Ends, is that the Corey Cunningham story as the next generation, as the next sort of thing, is actually a pretty interesting one. But they feel like, well, this is a Halloween movie, we got to shoehorn Michael Myers in here somewhere at the end. And it's like, you're doing yourself a disservice. They did themselves a disservice. And so, you can still have the social commentary about trauma and about moving on and about, those, residual effects and the suppression of fear and all of that, and, the suicides and the whatever. You can have all of that without Michael Myers, and it would still be very powerful, because the story really is about a town that has been tormented and is suffering so deeply with so much fear and trauma and sadness, and they don't know how to cope, and they don't know what to do, and they need help. The entire town needs help. And ironically, their behavior, they think they're doing the right thing. They think by shunning this kid who they are so certain murdered this child, they think by doing that, it will prevent another Michael Myers from coming back. But ironically, it brings Michael Myers, quote unquote, back. That's a great story. And so, I don't know what the hell it's doing in Halloween Ends, but it's a great story. Rob Thidoff says, hot take, Halloween 1978 has the least Halloween atmosphere aesthetics of all the Halloween films. I disagree. I would probably place Halloween H2O on that list, but it certainly doesn't have the best. I will agree with you there. It certainly does not have the best. Danita Brown, what's going on? Danita Brown says, fun stream, Dave. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you, Danita. You as well. I hope you are doing well. Chester Franklin Jr. says, hot take. If Michael didn't kill Jamie in Halloween 6, then Tommy or Lumis will notice that Michael is the father of the baby. That's true. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but yeah, no, that is true. Jeffrey Wallatish, hopefully I said that right, sends in $5. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and says, my hot take, Halloween Kills is the best of the David Gordon Green trilogy. Great kills, good suspense, awesome score, and well shot. H78 will never be matched anyways. I don't know how hot of a take that is. I think if you'd said Halloween Ends is the best, that would have been a very hot take. But I do know there are a lot of people that really like Halloween Kills. I still think Halloween 18 is the best in the David Gordon Green trilogy. I think it goes in order for me, 18 kills and then ends. But there are a lot of people that really do like Kills for sure. Jordan Jones says, my hot take, I think Halloween H2O is the best of the sequels. Is that a hot take though? I mean, it's a hot take for me because I don't particularly like Halloween H2O, but I think the general consensus is, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people love Halloween H2O and they consider it one of the best sequels. And as a matter of fact, if they were going to do a trilogy of films, they would likely do Halloween 1, 2, and H2O. So I mean, maybe for me it's a hot take, but I think the general consensus is among Halloween fans that it's pretty common, I guess I would say. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. All right. Reese Wilson, what's going on? Reese says, I really like that moment when John Strode arrives home drunk and takes a beat when he realizes no one is home and says, God damn, she actually left. Nice moment of reality. It's totally true. It's totally true. Takes a beat. Sorry, I meant it takes a beat, takes a moment is what you mean. Yeah. It's true. It's true. That is good. I like that too. Let me see here. Jason Voorhees says, hot take, all the Halloween sequels are complete dog shit. Well, from a certain point of view, you may not be wrong. Hey, listen, I'm waiting for the hot take from somebody who hasn't said this yet, but says, hot take, Halloween 78's a piece of crap. I've had people reach out, not a piece of crap, but I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, listen, Halloween 78, it's dated, it's boring, it's dull. I would much rather watch Halloween 18 or Halloween H2O or Halloween 4 or Halloween Resurrection or whatever the case is. There are a lot. I have had people reach out to me and say that they're not big fans. It's kind of crazy. All right, folks, listen, let me jump over to the Q&A portion right now. You can still send in hot takes if you want, but now I want to get to the Q&A portion where now I can answer some questions that may or may not have something to do with today's topic. But wow, what terrific hot takes. I gave you some of mine. You gave me a lot of yours. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your hot takes on the Halloween franchise. I would really like to know. I think it would be really, really cool. Now, some of these super chats, let me see here. Brandon Gregory sends in $1.99 and says, Drew was cast in Scream because of Robert Englund. I don't know. I haven't heard that. Is that what Robert is saying now? It could be. He does tend to say some things that need to be fact-checked, I think. But nonetheless, I haven't heard that one. Kyle sends in $5 and says, I enjoy the extra scenes they shot in H. Oh, I did read that one earlier. I did. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Josh McKenna sends in a very generous super chat of $19.99. Thank you, Josh. And says, have you ever snuck into a theater as a teen? I see reports of teens sneaking into Terrifier 3 by getting tickets to another movie. I remember you saying Bruce saw 7 and you saw Halloween 6. Did Bruce want to sneak in? I don't know. I think we had thought about it. Yeah. So I saw, Bruce and I went to see Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, when it came out in the theaters in late September of 1995. I was 16. Bruce was 15. It was rated R. And I obviously was 16 and not of age. But I was one of those kids that when I became a teenager and my voice broke, I was 16, but, looked 35 and sounded like I do now. So it was very easy for me to be like, y'all have one for Halloween 6, please. And they look at me and I have a bit of, stubble and they're just like, yeah, the guy looks 18 to me. Bruce, on the other hand, was 15, looked 14, sounded 12. So he didn't look 18 at all. So Bruce went and saw 7. And I think we had thought about Bruce sneaking into the Halloween 6 theater, but the box office, it was one of these old movie theaters that was in a mall. And so it was before like the big multiplexes, right? And so the theater, which was theater number 3 or whatever it was like right beside where the person was taking tickets, so they could see everybody that was going in. So I think he had or it was a she, maybe, I can't remember, had their eye on us, and so, but Bruce doesn't regret it. He went and saw 7. 7 is a classic right now. It is a motion picture classic. And Bruce got to see that fucking baby in the theater. Halloween 6 is not a classic. Okay. Halloween 6 is not a motion picture classic. I am kicking myself right now because I would have loved to have been able to say that I saw 7 in the movie theater. You know what I mean? But I didn't. I went and saw Halloween 6 instead. Wah, 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 wah. So no, I've never snuck into something because I've never had to. I've always, ever since I've just always been able to convince box office attendants that I am of age. Let me see here. LaQuisha Smith, yeah, $4.99, just tuning in. I have to say how I enjoyed It's Me Billy Part 1 and 2. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. The Violator sends in a very generous super chat of $19.99. Thank you so much. Says, loved It's Me Billy 1 and 2. Oh, fuck that Dan guy. Oh, yeah. I don't know who that was. The Dan guy who was talking about how my memberships are scams or I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Dan, go outside and touch grass and relax or just go crunch one out. I mean, maybe he needs to crunch one out. Maybe he's all in the bowels and he needs to crunch one out and, whatever case is. Hey, if he's a member and he's a unsatisfied member, then reach out to me and just, handle it maturely and professionally. And I'd be more than happy to, respond and give you my thoughts. And, but if you're going to be a dick, then just go sit on the toilet and crunch one out. That's all you gotta do. Just crunch one out. You'll feel better, Dan. Alex Shambach says, sends in a member chat and says, many fans. Oh, I got that one, of course. Nick Jenny got that because that was related. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I think I am caught up, ladies and gentlemen. I think I am. I believe I am caught up. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm caught up here. Let me see here. Lupo Ghoul says, hot take. I reject Resurrection with all my guts, but it's so fun to watch as a 2000 slasher, and I still watch it even more than some good ones. Yeah, the only Halloween movies I will watch, and I'll be honest with you, unless I am doing a show where, I'm watching on a, it's a watch along or, whatever the case is. The only Halloween movies I would pop in on my own would be 1, 2, and 4, really. I think that's kind of it. I mean, maybe like I might do 5 and 6 just because it's a, maybe. But if I'm going to watch Halloween, it's going to be 1, 2, or 4. And then maybe I might watch David Gordon Green's 18, because they're new and they're fresh. And, I haven't seen them I saw them in the theater and then once during a watch along here on the channel, but I haven't seen 18 probably in a couple years. Haven't seen Kill. Well, I watched Kills, last month for my, horror movie nights on part of my, membership. But that was the first time I had seen it in probably 2 years. So I don't watch them as often as you would think. And I'm certainly not watching them just as a random movie in like the summer or something. But it's interesting. Josh McKenna sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh, and says, what's your opinion on AI movie posters? A fan made AI poster of Wicked. The actress in the movie hated it and is upset while other people think she is overreacting. Listen, I can't speak directly to that. I will just say that AI is here to stay. There is nothing we can do about it. It's here, and it's only going to evolve. Technology expands exponentially. This is just part of it. As an artist and as a professional voice actor who's been a voice actor and been in the business for, 23 years, I am very aware on how, AI is affecting the voiceover side of the business. Now, when it comes to animation, it's not there. AI doesn't affect the animation side of the business at all. It is not really affecting the commercial and promo side of the business at all. But when it comes to like corporate and e-learning and training and all that kind of stuff, AI voiceovers are huge. So I'm very aware. I'm very up on what's happening and what's going on. But it's here to stay, and it's a tool. AI is a tool, and it can be used for bad and it can be used for good. And so, I think it is important, whether it's SAG-AFTRA in the US, whether it's ACTRA here in Canada, that protections are put in place. I am all for that. That's one of the big things that our union here in Canada is doing, and I am absolutely championing that. And I am a huge, I want that in SAG-AFTRA as well. There has to be rules and regulations in place as to not take advantage of actors and performers and artists. I'm all for that. But AI is here to stay. And unfortunately, in it will be used to create movie posters. It will be used to, there could be an instance where, because you have to think about it from a business perspective, from a producer perspective, right? There's the artists and there's the producers. And listen, there's going to come a time where, movies are shot, they're major motion pictures that cost millions and millions of dollars. And AI is going to get so good, it's already amazing, but it's going to get so flawless that the studio is going to say, well, hey, look, we can either spend, another $5 million by sending a crew out, to this location again, hiring the actors again, and going through this to get these pickup, or maybe not that, maybe more like pickup shots, right? You know what I mean? We can send a crew out. It's going to cost us $2 million to send this crew out to go get these pickup shots, right? These cutaways and insert shots that maybe we need some extra coverage on. We can do that. We can spend the money to do that. Or we can do this. And the audience isn't going to be any the wiser. You're going to watch the movie and maybe you might find out by some means that insert shot or that close-up shot or that cutaway shot is totally AI generated. But you would never know. That's how good it's going to get. You would never, ever know. You'd be like, I don't even holy shit. I don't even, holy fuck. Now you tell me, are the studios going to spend millions of dollars to send a crew out and locations and, whatever to get all these shots? And trust me, folks, it costs a lot of money. Now, I'm just saying, I don't know how much specifically it would cost, but I can tell you, even our one-day shoot in January cost thousands of dollars, so you think about a major studio film with a major studio release on some Marvel movie or something. Yeah, if you got to go out and spend a couple of days getting pickup shots or insert shots or getting more coverage of something, that's going to cost millions of dollars. And so the studios might say, well, why are we going to spend millions of dollars doing this when we can spend this and just AI it? And nobody's going to know. And nobody's going to know. And so it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, whether that's right or wrong, that's for another discussion. But I just want to say that it's here to stay. And we're seeing it being used. We're seeing artists backlash of it. I think I did hear about the Wicked thing. And of course, I don't know enough information to be able to speak on it. I'm not informed enough to be able to speak on it. I will just say that I'm not surprised, and that I think there's nuance involved here. I think AI can be a wonderful tool for creators. For instance, the way it was used in the Late Night with the Devil. Right? People got up in arms and lost their shit because there were literally on screen 5 seconds of a title card that was AI. Who cares? Who cares? But Dave, they took a job away from somebody. Maybe, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I have issues with AI generated movies. Okay. Because then you're taking everything away from everybody. But, if I'm being honest with you as a creator, as a producer, oh geez, I need that pickup shot. Well, I could either spend $30,000 going out to get it, or I can spend $500 generating it. What makes the most? It's one of those things where this is sort of the avenue we're going down. Now, obviously, as a producer and as somebody that comes from that era and that generation, I always want to get everything in camera. I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic and real. And I don't want to AI generate anything. I'm just saying that I can intellectualize it and understand it from the business point of view. And because it's show business, AI is here to stay. So we just have to roll with the punches and hope that it doesn't it doesn't become too intrusive into our lives where now they're just AI generating scenes. They're AI generating actors. You know, it's already started with deep fakes and de-aging and all that kind of stuff, right? This is the future, folks, and it's the entertainment landscape and how we consume our media and movies. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's inevitable. And so don't misinterpret me saying that me saying all this is that I'm supporting it. I'm just saying that it is inevitable that it's going to happen. So we as creators, as somebody who works in the business, I'm just like, I got to learn. I got to learn how to roll with this. I got to learn how it's used. I got to learn what are the pros, what are the cons, because eventually it's going to be just there. Like how smartphones are, it's just part of our lives. You know, AI is just part of our lives, you know, and so it's scary. And I come from the old school way that I want to make movies that are all in camera. That means real actors, real sets, real crew, you know, real cameras, real, you know, whether it's film or whether I'm actually shooting digitally and the footage is going onto a card and I'm there on set with, you know, fucking the Arri 35 or the, you know, the Arri Mini or the, you know, whatever, like I'm there on set and I can feel it and I'm saying action and the camera's rolling and, you know, we have, you know, DIT and we have to dump the footage, you know, and I can watch them. I want making real movies and real being on set and it's tangible and everything's there and that's what I want. And yeah, if I need a pickup shot or some more coverage, I hope I have the money from the production company or the studio, you know, to go out and get that stuff. But it may not be up to me. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it may not be up to me. I mean, you know, if I make a movie for a studio, they may say, yeah, Dave, we don't want to spend, because listen, every movie, you know, especially big movies, will set money aside to go out for reshoots. And reshoots doesn't necessarily mean that they're incompetent film. I don't understand why. Well, I do understand. This is a whole other thing. I'm going to go off on another tangent. I'll just say that just because there are reshoots doesn't mean that the production was incompetent and they didn't get it right the first time. Listen, there's lots of reasons why productions will go out and reshoot things. Anyway, that's a whole other show. But it may not be up to me, right? They may say, nah, I know you want to go out, but listen, for you to go out and get these shots, it's going to cost you $100,000 a day. You want 4 days. No, we'd rather spend $1,000 and just AI it. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. Sorry. It's not up to you, Dave. You know, and then you're like, fuck, you know, like, so it's tricky. I think it's a tool and it can be used for good and it can be used for bad. And you know, it's going to be used for bad. You know, our governments, whether it's the US government, whether it's the Canadian government, whether it's the British government, whatever, you know, our governments right now are using AI to plant people in places they were never, there, to AI generate voices of like our adversaries or that were, they said things they never said, all that shit's being used now. It's all being used, and in the geopolitical sphere, and it's just like, fuck, man. It's scary shit. It's scary shit. But yeah, as an artist, I wish it wasn't there, but it is. So as an artist, I have to get used to it and I have to figure out how to use it so I know how to use it responsibly, because there will come a time where I feel like I will be forced to use it just because the industry and the world will force you to use it. You either adapt or see ya. That's kind of how I feel like it's going to be. And that's why I have the stance I have. But no, I mean, I would much rather get everything in camera so I don't have to do that. That's me. That's me. And that's a lot of us right now, us filmmakers and creators and actors and producers who are coming up. But we also know what it looks like, and we're kind of like, fuck, they're going to force us into this. Those fucking bastards, It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. All right, 5 more minutes, folks. 5 more minutes left in the show, and then we will skedaddle. Brandon Collins says, I think we're going to see a lot of dead actors in new films soon. I'm right there with you, buddy. This will be the next niche genre. Studios will pay millions to dead people's estates for likeness rights. Connery will be 007 again. I agree. They're going to bring back Robin Williams. They're going to bring back Sean Connery. Yeah, I agree. They're going to bring back dead actors. Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree. And then there's going to be, how do you feel about that? Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so, it's scary, man. It is, because it's like I don't want to do that, And I also feel too, like, because I'm a bit of a late bloomer in life, on the filmmaking side of things, because as you know, for those of you who may not, I've spent most of my career in the entertainment business as a voice actor. Obviously, I've worked on set. I've met all kinds of, different people who've worked in other areas of the business, including the film industry. But it wasn't until my 40s that I really began to make a go at the filmmaking side, and we are still continuing to do that. So I just hope that if I ever make a studio film or a much larger production, that I have other people involved with, other production companies and studios, that there isn't this need to AI shit, but I have to be prepared. It's crazy. It's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. But I don't think what the filmmakers did with Late Night with the Devil, like, I understand the principle of why people were upset. But when I saw the movie and I saw the AI generated title cards, which were up on screen for like 5 seconds, I was like, I mean, I get it, but that's not, like, I would have been more pissed off if like 30 minutes of the movie was AI generated. Then I would have been like, okay, like, but I think but to Brandon's point, I think it will likely become its own subgenre. I think you will just have, like, AI generated movies could likely become its own subgenre. And you pay for it and you watch it as you would any other film. But going in that it's an AI generated film. And there may be eventually an AI generated Academy Award category, or like, well, whatever the case is, like how there's an animated category, right? I think that I don't know when and I don't know how soon, but I think it's likely that it will probably move in that direction. That's what I think. But I don't know, folks. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. Let me see here. Robert Holston says, going to watch Halloween 1 and 2 right now. Yes. Love it. Zach Axiola says, Dave, thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? If you've seen it, not really a fan. Everything I wanted from it, I got. They expanded the lore, technology, and characters. Plus, we got a new intimidating villain. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think Afterlife is a far better film. I think Frozen Empire felt too gimmicky. I think there was just too many subplots, or maybe just one subplot that was just too much. Too many characters. I just wasn't a fan. I didn't hate it or anything. I mean, it's not like the worst sequel. It's not like the worst movie ever made, but I much prefer Afterlife. I don't think you really needed to make another one. I think Afterlife was a terrific sort of honoring and tribute to Harold Ramis, and it got back to its roots and did something really special for the franchise, and I think that's really cool. That's really, really cool. Whoa! A generous super chat comes from the Violator 862. Goes hard into the paint at the buzzer, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. Thank you so much, buddy. Really, really appreciate you sending in a generous super chat like that. And says, last super chat of the night before I work on the script for my Christmas slasher short film. Yes, love it. Have a good night, everyone. You too, my man, and good luck. Stay strong. Buckle down, and good luck. Thanks, Violator. Really, really appreciate that very generous super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, folks, listen, that is going to do it for me here on this episode of McRae Live. I think this was a good episode today. We talked about some of our hot Halloween takes. I gave you some of mine. You gave me some of yours. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on and what your hot Halloween franchise takes are. I would really like to know. If you want to follow me on social media and you're not right now, well, what are you doing? Jump into the description. What do I jump in? I'm all over the place here. All my links are in the description. That's what I'm trying to say. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That is going to do it for me. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm closing in on 30,000 subscribers. I want to get there, hopefully before the end of the year. That would be great. We've been sort of knocking on 30,000 now for, I don't know, like 900 years. And it would be great to finally get there. You're all amazing. Thank you, of course, to my great moderators. You know who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you to the super chats. Thank you to the member chats. Thank you to the non-super chats. You're all amazing. That's going to do it for me on this episode of McRae Live. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Oh, Music Man! Music Man right at the buzzer, ladies and gentlemen, sends a very generous super chat of 20 shekels. Thank you, Music Man. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Help support the channel and keeps these shows going. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your Brandon Gregory says, don't forget about the original super chats. I didn't. I got to them. Maybe you stepped out. I got them. I got to yours. I got to them. Unless there was some I missed, but I don't think I missed them. I got them. Let me just double check. Brandon, you were the first one. I got yours. I got Kyle's. I got Logan Reynolds. I got Josh McKenna's. Yep, I got them. All is good, my man. All is good. All right, folks, have a great rest of your, I was going to say Thursday. Tuesday. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will talk to you all soon. In the meantime, in between time, let me try that again. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.